The name is Brandon Groce. And we are the Game Changers. Designers, creatives alike. We are in a world that runs on value. Our next designs will be the shiniest. Our next animation will be the most buttery. Ladies and gentlemen, Game Changers, let the games begin.
What's going on, Editor X family? Welcome back to Editor X Live with me, your host, Brandon Groce. I'm super excited to have you guys here yet again for another day of awesomeness. Today is day number 4 for our Daily Creative Challenge, and today we are going to be focusing on hover interactions. But before we begin, I want to say hi to you guys in the chat. We have Victor, Dimma, and a few of you other guys. Hello and welcome. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. With that said, let's get into our house cleaning items. Let's make sure, for those of you who are coming in, whether you're new to Editor X or you're rewatching or you're watching the replay, let's talk a little bit about how to join Editor X, starting for free, and start creating some amazing, responsive, and interactive websites for free. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my screen here. If you guys are new to Editor X, you guys can join. Again, there's a link in the description, or you can go to editorx.com. Go to Start Now and sign up for your free account today and start with us doing these creative challenges, learn some amazing things, and win cool prizes, as well as you engage and create the challenges along with us each and every day. With that said, if you haven't already, do also make sure to join our Discord, where there's tons of amazing creatives like yourselves learning to understand and build in Editor X even better each and every day. And the 3 main things that you guys will get from our Discord is, one, the major thing is you guys will get your questions answered relating to anything Editor X. There is a channel that we have in here that is purely for advice and asking questions, where you guys are free to ask a question. It opens a thread, and me and the Editor X team make it our priority to answer your questions and help you guys through any challenges that you have. We have our feedback and challenge section, where 3 of you guys, Victor, Dimma, and Charlie, very excited about your guys' submissions from yesterday's challenge, where everybody will submit their challenge. And of course, there's many other things in here upon just more than just chatting with everybody. But this is, again, the place where we will let you guys know what is in store for each and every day of our challenges, when the next challenge is, and how to join us. You guys can see that in our weekly challenge and informational section of our Discord. So those are the 3 main things that you'll get out of our Discord, but there's so much more. But just wanted to give you guys a quick intro. Hey, what's going on, Victor? What's happening, Charles? Bring it, Brandon, says Charles. We will definitely do so. All right. So now that we kind of have the house cleaning items out of the way, let's talk about what we're doing today. So, of course, what we're doing today is really simple. We're working on hover interactions, and by the end of today's session, you guys will be able to complete and create something like this. Now, I grabbed images that I could just kind of like fit in here for the different brands, Adidas, New Balance, and ASIC, but you guys are free to use any other content you so desire. Again, you guys can make the challenges your own. We are only focusing on the hover interaction piece of this. So as long as you have hover interactions in your challenge submission, you're good to go. You don't have to follow exactly what it is that I'm doing. You can make the challenges your own. So what we're going to do before we begin, for those of you who are watching, you guys can download the starter files. First link down in the description. We have all of the logo assets as well as the images that you see here and that we'll be using in this challenge, so you guys can start right off the bat. All right, so we are going to start off a brand new file here, or not a brand new file. We're going to use my current file and move it on into, we're going to basically create a new page. So I'm going to go here, click add new page, and start from scratch. Calling it Editor X Live. Tut. And let me go ahead and begin. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to get rid of our header. I'm going to just don't display, and our footer. We don't need either of these. And don't display. Second of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my only section here, and I am going to give this a height of 100 vertical height. because we want that to span the entire vertical, or basically take up the entire vertical space of our page here. And so I'm just going to hit none for minimum height. And what I'm going to do is we're going to kind of cheat here. Rather than making 4 different columns, I'm going to use a repeater, make one column, and basically it will create the rest for us. So let's start there. And by the way, since these are only 30-minute long tutorials, if you guys have any questions, or I'm talking too fast, or you guys want me to repeat something or see something else, let me know in the chat and we will make it happen. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my add elements here, and I am going to drop a repeater straight into our section, and I'm just going to stretch it to 100% of the section size. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to manage my items. I'm going to add an item here. I'm just going to add it to the bottom. So you'll see we have a row of 3 and just an outlier just like this. We don't want that. We want a row, we want 4 columns. So I'm going to go to make sure my repeater is selected. Victor says some cheater. I am indeed. We're trying to make things as simple as possible. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to set in my inspector. I don't want any horizontal margin. I'm going to zero that out. I don't want any vertical margin. And as you guys are seeing this, what that means is this horizontal margin is basically the pixels in between each item in the repeater. So 0, vertical margin, 0. We get, now you see there's no space in between this. And now what we want to do is number of items per row is rather than 3, we want, whoops, what happened there? Okay, we want 4. So now you can see all the items are 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're looking good. All right. Now, the next step is, I think, I've had some really interesting mishaps. I wouldn't say mishaps, but sometimes when I do 100 VH, sometimes the actual height doesn't actually reflect that. So let me see if I refresh this, what happens. And it may or may not work, but sometimes I get I'll set something to 100 VH, and because I maybe have moved my screen a little bit. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so now you can see that it is 100 VH, and our columns here are much longer. They're about this. They're the size that they should be. So what we're going to do from here is we are going to start adding our content just like this. We're going to add a top container, a bottom container, and a middle container. So what we're going to do is in our first item, and as you can see here, we are inside the first item of our repeater. We're going to apply a grid, and we are going to get 3 rows just like this. And just to steal like a little bit of just to steal some of the numbers here, I kind of forget what we are using. So I'm gonna open this up. I'm actually going to duplicate this so I can use some of the exact same numbers that I used in the previous page that I edited, just to keep everything consistent. And so what we're going to do for this, let's see, we're going to go to our item, we're going to see our grid and what we have. So we have 100 pixels for that middle portion. So we're going to click in here, change grid layout. We're going to click right here, and right here it says a minimum of 255. We want a minimum of 100 pixels. And we are going to, let's see, we have 45% up here. We're going to do 45%. And the bottom, we will also do 45%. All right, perfect. So essentially anything that we do to our first item here will apply to every other item in the repeater. So as you guys can see this, we've done one grid for one item, but they all have that same exact grid. Now all we're going to do is we are going to add 3 containers. We're going to right click click on our item. We're going to click quick add container, and I'm going to make 3 of these puppies. One for our bottom here, and I'm going to set this to white. the color of it, just like that. We're going to duplicate it, Control D. We're going to pull this up to our top portion just like this. And we are going to make sure that it is perfect, that it is fitting in that full container. As you guys can see, as I make one change to our first item, it happens to the rest. I'm going to duplicate this one more time, and I'm going to squeeze this right into our section just like this, our last one. So we have one container, 2 containers, 3 containers. And now pretty much all we have to do now is, this is pretty easy. I'm going to select my first container here, right click, quick add. I'm going to add an image. And this is going to be our logo. I'm going to center this inside of our container here. Perfect. Change image. And our first one is going to be Nike. We're going to make sure that this fits. Reset image. Perfect. Again, making sure that is both centered horizontally and vertically in our container. And we will get to the rest of the images in just a moment. We're going to set up our first cards, and then we'll get to the rest of them. We just want to get our structure first. All right, up next, what we're going to do is these containers here, we are going to add a image. So first thing, we're going to do a quick add image. We're going to scale that and stretch that to the full container here. And we are going to duplicate that. And we're going to add this into our other container just like this. And making sure that it actually is going into the container. All right, perfect. We're going to stretch that. And I do see a little bit of white space in here. We'll figure out what exactly is going on with that. But again, we're doing one thing at a time. When it comes to hot fixing things, we'll figure it out as we go. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find our Nike images. So we're going to grab, and I wish I did grab some, some fancier photos here. So we're just replacing our images, change image, using our Nike photos, 2, perfect. And what I'm going to do now, before I start moving on to the rest of the content, actually, should I do that now? I think we should, because we're going to start getting into some other things here. What we're going to do is we're going to replace all of our assets, and then we'll get into the hover interactions. It'll be a lot smoother that way. So we're going to just go ahead and we're going to replace all of our image logos. So the next we will have Adidas. Okay. Next we will have New Balance. Perfect. And next we will have ASIC. Excellent. And also let me know in the chat if you guys are a-okay and with me, and if you're not, also slow me down. Let me know how everything's going with you all. All right, so now we're just gonna, just like we did with the Nike images, we are going to get our Adidas photos. We're replacing our images, our New Balance. Let's see, 1, 2, and our ASIC 1 and 2. Honestly, I think the ASIC ones, I don't know what it is, but ASIC had like nice, good marketing photos. When I went to go grab these images, I was like, why are they? It was very difficult to find like good marketing images for Adidas, Nike, and New Balance for some odd reason, but we're here now. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna add our white shapes here. So we get this nice, we're gonna add our little white containers on top of our images, and that is what we are going to set to have a, we're gonna set each item to have a hover interaction, a custom one. And we're gonna make them, essentially the containers move. Victor says, Brandon is always quick on the trigger. Wait, hold on, wait, what did I trigger? All right, so what we're gonna do next is we are going to, I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna go to my container here, quick add, another container. I'm going to spread this out. We're going to make this white. Perfect. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go to the container using my breadcrumbs. I'm going to right click. Ooh, nope. Container. 3 dots. Quick add. Container. And we're going to make this white. Victor says, look, that's marvelous. Well, I'm glad you think so. All right, so we are basically halfway there. We have all of our container, we have all of the containers that will be essentially animating. We have what is under there, which is our images. And now it's time to essentially just create a hover interaction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my item. And I'm going to go over to my inspector. And this is the first time we are actually going to be using our interactions here. All right, let's see. So let's go to, we're going to do this maybe later. I'm going to add a trigger, add hover. And actually, I think they changed some things because this is not what I saw yesterday when I was preparing this. Victor says, trigger, I mean the mouse. You can put the elements really fast. You create an efficient page. That's great. Ah, yes. Much love, Victor. I tried. We practiced. At least I think so. So it looks like they have some new, they've added some new features here. So we're going to be learning this together as we go, but let's see this. So we want the affected element to be self, action type, apply, and effect. Yes, effect we want to be custom. And we are going to, we'll just call this hover interaction for now. And start designing. And so what we want to have happen is we get this little timing panel. And we basically get 2 new menus. So we are designing our hover interaction, and we get to see essentially this is our timing menu, and we also get to play back that timing that we end up creating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select our white containers, and I'm going to pull them up. And I'm doing this really ugly. And what I mean by that is I'm doing it manually. It would be much more efficient if I were to just be able to use my arrow keys. And for whatever reason, hold on one second, guys. I should be able to just drag this up here. And it should stay there. But it is not. So let me see what's happening here. Because let's actually do this really quick. Let me go and let's figure out how we did this over here. So I'm going to select my item. Boom. I'm going to go to my interactions. I'm going to go to maybe later. Let's see what is happening here. Dun, dun, item. Okay. Let's figure this out because some things have changed. And all right, let's go to the repeater. Maybe we have, nope. It should be on the item. I even see it. It's right here. Apply hover on item. Yes, we want the hover. All right, bear with me, guys. I wasn't expecting to everything change the day before I was teaching this. So, patience is key. All right, so we have our initial effect. Okay. And then we have our hover. Okay. All right. So it looks like that's how it's done. So let me go ahead and let's figure this out. I'm going to close that. I'm actually going to undo everything I kind of just did here. All right, perfect. Container, item. All right, let's go back here. We want effects. We have our trigger. All right. So our trigger is our hover. Yes, perfect. Select. We want, what did we have over here? I think we just had it custom. Apply hover. Okay. Victor says they changed that today because I used the hover effect this morning and wasn't like that. Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Like, I even went through this before the live. They must have just hit like commit. Now it's totally different. But hey, you guys get to learn it with me live as we go through this. So we'll figure it out together. This is also why it's good to have these challenges, because the product changes so rapidly and we get to figure things out like this together. All right, let's see. So essentially, I guess now what they have, all right, we have the apply an effect. Effect is hover. And then I think let's see. What happens if I close this? Add new interaction, effect. I think maybe we'll just set it to grow really quickly and see what happens. But I don't think this is, because we want to make a custom. Here, let me delete these very quickly. Edit, please. All right, guys, give me a moment. We're learning on the fly here. All right, effects. Now these I don't want anymore. All right, let's see. Grow we don't want. Delete. Okay, perfect. All right, awesome. All right, let's try this again. We're gonna do add a trigger. No, we want the hover. All right, so hover, boom. Select an effect. I want it to be custom. Let's see, choose on canvas. Okay, container, done. Oh, here it is. Okay, there we go. Here's custom. Let's try. So what we're going to do is we want this to go up. Let's see. Because the principles are the same, they just moved around some of the settings, guys. So that's really what we're learning at the moment. So let's see, I'm just gonna make that happen. And let's see what happens. Let's go back to our item. We have our, where did it go? I am so confused. Editor X, please. Put it back to what it was. But you know, I think this is probably better because I do see the ability to customize more. It's just, you know, we haven't played around with these settings yet. All right, let's see. Hover, add new interaction, item, self, apply an effect, custom, start designing. And we are going to select this. We're going to move this up. Hey, what's going on? Alicia Hartward says, that's amazing tutorial. We're trying. We're trying. Hartward, things changed this morning without my knowledge. So first off, I appreciate the sarcasm. Second of all, I'm glad you're just here in the first place. All right, but I think I got it. Okay, cool. So essentially, and I'll go back through it, just in case you guys didn't catch that. But they separated some settings. All right. I'm gonna just pull this off the screen here. All right, cool. And I'm gonna click done. All right, so let's preview really quick. Nothing? All right, let's go back in. Manual. You stay on the dark, what's it called? The dark UI. I'm sure it's coming out soon. All right, let me do item, initial state. This is the effect. This is definitely going to go on longer than 30 minutes, guys, because I have no idea what changes they made, and things are going to be little, and this was supposed to be like one of the easiest tutorials out here, and it is going to be. We just need to figure out what exactly they changed. All right. Like, I don't know where my, what's it called? Repeater item. My interaction is gone. Oh, here we go. All right, preview. Ha! All right, so now I have it. Okay, so how this works is essentially you create effects and you add triggers. And what you have to do is with a hover, essentially, you're like, hey, I want to trigger something that happens. And I want to trigger an effect. And you can make any effect essentially happen. There's initial state, which is what we're looking at right here. And there's these effects that essentially you can edit. And what I did is, you can see this now. I'm designing effect 1. And I can play and show you what the initial state and the effect looks like. And as you guys can see, because I manually moved these white containers, there is a little bit of a, I moved them a little bit to the left. So we designed effect 1. And how we're going to trigger effect 1 is adding it here. So I can add new interaction. I want to have the item be affected and then apply effect 1. Okay, awesome. So they've made it 2 steps so it's more customized. I figured that's what it was, but we're just trying to get it working. All right, so let's take a preview. All right, so now we have all of these. And like I said, as you guys can see right here, there's a little bit, you can see that that container that I moved a little bit to the left. So how we go ahead and fix that is we're gonna go ahead back into our item and see how easy that was. We actually just figured it out. We're still on time. But yes, now trigger effects, and you can have multiple effects, which is actually really awesome. That makes things a lot more customized and not just one-offs. Awesome. I was sweating, guys. I was like, oh God. I was like, oh no. All right, so let's go ahead and fix this. We're gonna go back to effects, effect 1. We're gonna edit this, and we are going to select our top container. I think this is our top container. Yeah, this is our top container. And we are going to, let's see. That's that container. Where is the one? Trying to, let's see. Here we go. All right. We're going to see right here where it says -3. We're going to zero that out because we don't want it going to the left. And we're going to do the same thing for our container down here. We're just going to make sure that it goes up or down only. So, and we're going to make the way that these animate, the top and bottom, we're going to animate them to the same pixelage. So the bottom one is moving Y 319. So I'm going to copy that. And I'm going to do the same thing here. We're going to do -319 so that they move at the same pace. Done. And let's see. Let's preview. All right, perfect. All right. And also, as you guys can see, the white is not going all the way down. So I think what we need to do here is we're going to increase the amount that these translate. So again, we're going to go back to our container item, effect 1, edit effect 1. All right, so now I can process. I understand why there's basically a library of effects that I can apply to different places. So much easier. I was just getting stressed, guys, because I was like, oh no, they literally just updated this morning. I have no idea what's changed. So thank you guys for your patience. What I want to do is I'm going to move this out -400, just so it's 100% like out of the picture. And I'm going to do the same thing to this container down here. We're going to see what happens when we do 400. It should be all the way out of the picture. We're going to hit done. Preview. Perfect. Awesome. All right, so I did see some questions in the chat. Let me see. Dima says, we make effect and apply the effect to the hover. That's right. Yes, that is 100% correct. So let's do it again. Just to explain this, because I know my frustration and me being afraid to look really dumb live with a very quick change, I kind of got a little frazzled. So let's go over this, and I'll explain how simply this is actually a really good change, because now, like I said, more customization is possible. So how this works is, so I want to unhover, right? Each one of these things is an item. And so what I'm doing is I'm going to the interactions and I'm saying, hey, if I go ahead and add a trigger, right? I can create effects based on whether something is clicked or whether it is on hover. And so with that said, for example, I already select hover, right? And so it gives me a setting, hey, when you hover on this item, what type of interaction do you want to have? And so this is when we did new interaction, this is when we created, basically what we applied was the effect that we made, which was the up and down of the containers. So before we can apply something, right, you can obviously, there's a whole bunch of different effects presets that you can create, or what you have down here is custom. And so this is where we got to name effect 1. This is another example. And now we can start designing the custom effect. This is where we get our new menus. Hey, Brandon, you are designing effect 2 example. You can now test out the types of timings of the custom effects that you're trying to create. So for example, if I wanted to, on hover, we want the Nike logo to move to the right corner of the container. What it does is it says, okay, we're moving that image over a period of 0.3 seconds at a ease in and out sort of animation curve. And so we can see what that looks like. And we can, for example, we can go to my timing. Let's say I wanted that a little bit, longer. I could do like one whole second. Play it, boom. And so what I can do, rather than, I'm gonna hit done. And let's say for whatever reason, rather than having the current animation, which is, just the sliders of these white containers going up and down, what I can do here is if I go back to edit site, click on image, go to, not image, sorry, we're gonna go back to our item here, go back to triggers, add another interaction, and I'm gonna select example 2. So now it should do 2 things. The containers should, the whites should wipe off, the white container should go up and down, and now all of the logos should go to the right. So let's take a look at this. So I'm gonna preview, hover, there we go. So now you guys see how we can have, this is actually really awesome. Because I was actually thinking about this. I was like, well, I guess it's kind of cool to have multiple different, it would be cool to have multiple different interactions within something that's hovered. Whereas before, I think you could only have one. And it was very complex. But this actually breaks it down to where you can apply multiple effects to a simple trigger, which is awesome. So actually, this is a really cool thing that on this challenge, the new effects or the new interactions you guys get to play with for this challenge. So it actually works out really nicely. So, all right, with that, me sweating a little bit and me looking a little confused live, I appreciate your guys' patience. Let me go through chat really quick. Alicia says, I've noticed today when I added parallax effects to my image and link it to another page, the link didn't work anymore. Is it something that you can't combine? Let's see. I've noticed today when I added parallax to an image and linked it to another page, the link didn't work anymore. Alicia, I would love to see exactly what's happening. If you can create a little video and put it in the ask a question in our Discord, I'll get it to you as quickly as possible. And that way I just have a visual, a visual of what exactly it is that you're talking about, and I can help a little bit better. Ray is saying, what made you transition from Adobe XD to Editor X? My friend, I actually haven't transitioned to either or. I still use Adobe XD. All of the starter files is in Adobe XD. I use Adobe XD to create the websites that are awesome in Editor X. So honestly, rather than transitioning to one or the other, they just flow really well. Adobe XD helps me get my content ideas out, and it helps me produce. Editor X allows me to bring them to life. So it's not one or the other. It's a combination of both. And, you know, sometimes, or not sometimes, if I have an idea I already want to put together, it really makes no sense to start in a project file or a, you know, I can jump right into Editor X rather than having to lay things out, because Editor X is basically like any other design platform. You can drag and drop. Maybe I only need Photoshop to give me my assets, or a designer or whomever I'm working with, give me my assets. I can jump right into Editor X and I can start making something that is going to live versus just designing. All right, so before we actually close out, let's take a, Heartword, I would love to know, better tutorial, yes or no? Because we got through it and I'm happy. All right, so let's take a look at a couple things before we end out here. I do want to show you guys, I'm sure you guys know by now, but to publish your site, you click that blue button in the right-hand corner, and you can I've already published it, but you copy this website here, and to submit it in the Discord, to really submit, to be able to opt in for some prizes at the end of these 2 weeks of challenges, you're going to go to challenge. You're going to paste your URL and also make sure to copy the format that we have, which is your name. You don't have to copy the challenge 3 reference. This is just for you guys, just in case you guys want to see what it is you want to refer back. So we have challenge number 3, Brandon Groce, challenge number, and we have the Editor X link. I'll post that, and that is how you guys will submit your challenge websites. So with that, I do also want to give a huge shout out to let's see, Charlie. We had Dimma, and I believe Victor. I absolutely loved yesterday's challenge submissions. This was absolutely awesome. And of course, like I said, you guys can make these challenges your own. You know, Victor really took a huge liberty with, I love these cards, man, I have to say. You know, he really made the project his own. I love the, you know, the scrolling menu and how it changes and makes it basically become solid. Excellent job, my friend. It's beautiful. We had Dimma, again, very nice with the animations for each one of the elements. You did really well. Also for the responsiveness, you did the assignment, my friend. And same with you. Let's see, hold up. The names have escaped me. Charlie, this is a really good job, my friend. And I said this in the chat. This was beautiful. You got the responsiveness together. I just basically said maybe you want to make the logo fixed for next time and basically rescale it. But other than that, all 3 of you, excellent job. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it for today's Daily Creative Challenge. I look forward to seeing what you guys create and submit in our Discord. Again, if you have any questions, please drop them in our Ask a Question section of our Discord, because that is where we get to really everything that you guys are struggling with so that you can make the cool things that you want. All right, guys, we will be back here same time, same place at 1 p.m. EST creating. Let me see, what do we have in store for tomorrow? We are focusing on stacks to build an e-commerce furniture store. So I'm super excited about that. So with that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place, and also in our Discord. Thank you guys. Dimma, Heartwood, Alicia, or Heartword, Ray, Dimma, Manuel, Victor. I appreciate the patience, hanging out, and I'll see you guys in Discord. Thank you so much. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.